The middleweight division might actually make a comeback. A division once stacked with legendary fighters, the division has been pretty slow as of late. Since the 2010s, we've had a legend like Triple G, but that was really it. Then when he retired, it basically got taken over by Janibek, who seems like a real dangerous fighter, but he's never really tested. The other champs are Arislandi Lara, who could give anyone a tough fight, but he's 42 years old. Carlos Adames is also pretty solid, but outside of those three guys, the division is pretty weak. But now, we're actually starting to hear some noise. After Crawford defeated Canelo to win the undisputed super middleweight titles, there's rumors that he might bump down to 160, a division he never even fought before, and tried to wipe out that division. I personally think he could beat all those guys with ease. I'm sure you guys could agree that he could beat anybody at 160 as well. Now, Janibek and Adames are scheduled to fight. It's rumored the fight end of the year, I believe, on the Teofimo versus Shakur Stevenson card, which is pretty big. But we have that fight for unification titles. Janibek already holds 2 belts. Adames holds the other one. So Janibek could realistically, in my opinion, I think Janibek is the best fighter at the 160 division right now. Before Crawford comes, I think he can win that 3rd belt. And then, of course, we have Lara left, which if Janibek tries to go for undisputed, I think Janibek could beat Lara. Going to be a very tough fight. Lara has a very weird style. But let's say Crawford comes down to 160, tries to fight Lara for that belt. Well, I think definitely Crawford has the abilities to beat Janibek. But what I'm trying to say is, it's all starting to add up for Crawford to actually become undisputed champion pretty easily. Because Janibek already has 2 belts. If he fights Adames, I think he beats Adames, wins that 3rd belt. And then whether Crawford fights Lara or Lara fights Janibek, I mean, either way, Crawford's going to win. Alrighty, and he's going to get those fights if he wants them. Turkey could write whatever he needs, whatever check, and make that fight happen, whether it's against Lara or whether it's against Janibek. Now, what I hope we don't see is a marination fight where we have Janibek versus Lara for the undisputed titles and then Crawford fighting some tune-up on the same card, because what happens now? We saw in the past, how many times before in the past 2 or 3 years, where these marination fights, people fight on the same card in hopes to fight later on in the year. One of them ends up losing. Wilder lost to Parker. Ryan Garcia lost to Rolly. Caleb Plant lost. All right. All on big cards that were supposed to be marination build-up fights for fights later on in the future. What happens if Janibek loses? What happens if Crawford loses, really? That should be the main one. What if Terrence Crawford loses? I mean, I don't think he'll ever lose at 160, but let's say he does. Anything can happen. Let's say he does. That throws everything off. But what I'm trying to say is, the division now is actually starting to get more rumors and some more talk. I'm happy for it. Like I said, the division was weak ever since Triple G bumped up to fight Canelo, then retired. I mean, the division has been weak. Janibek is a good fighter. He's a dangerous fighter, but he's fought C-level guys, maybe B-level guys when you consider them just middleweights. I mean, he has not been tested. Lara, I mean, he's a legend. I wouldn't say a legend, but he could be a future Hall of Famer, I should say. Of course, we saw him in his prime, gave Canelo a very tough fight, controversial fight. I mean, he's an experienced fighter, very weird style. Sure. And then Adames, I mean, he could crack. We know that. He could crack. Had a good fight with Shiraz, which he should have technically won. Adames should have won. But all of these guys, I mean, Crawford could easily beat, whether by stoppage or decision. Janibek will be the toughest fight for Crawford, but I think he could make it happen. Now, it also brings up the question, like, what does that say about Crawford, though, if he's having to bump down to 160 to wipe out an easy division? I mean, what are you really accomplishing? Is becoming a 4-time undisputed champion in 4 weight divisions that impressive when you look at what he does at 160? I'd still say yes, but not as impressive as him bumping up to 175, or 160 was actually a stacked division. Maybe if Boots bumped to 160 and then Virgil Ortiz bumped to 160 and Crawford wiped those guys out, well, then we're definitely talking about something. But we look at the current state of the middleweight division. I mean, it's expected for Crawford to win those guys. I mean, this isn't, even though he's bumping down and fighting champions that a division he never fought before, he's still the heavy favorite, I believe, against any of those guys at 160, compared to if he bumped up to 175 and fought Bivol Benavidez, which I don't think Crawford should do. I mean, I don't want to say Crawford will lose because I said Crawford would lose to Canelo because he was too small and look what happened. But I actually think he'd lose at 175. I mean, if you guys think he'd beat Benavidez, Beterbiev, or whatever, Bivol Benavidez or Beterbiev at 175, I mean, I can't say it's impossible now after we just saw what he did against Canelo, but I'd like to hear how you think he'd beat those guys. I mean, it'd be crazy, but I don't think he should do it. I mean, he's too old. If anything, he should just retire after the Canelo fight. But if he really wants to get another undisputed title chance, just that put on his resume. I mean, 160, he could wipe out easily, quick. Fight Lara early next year, and then fight for whoever wins the Janibek versus Adames fight later on next year. But the thing with Crawford is he only comes around once a year. So I don't know, but maybe that's asking too much for Crawford. But if he wanted the middleweight division, if he wanted the titles at the middleweight division, he could certainly do it. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. The division is making some noise again, and it's good. Boxing is good when the middleweight division is good. We saw forever how good it is. Sugar Ray Robinson, Marvin Hagler, Carlos Monzon, Jake LaMotta. Of course, we saw at times where Sugar Ray Leonard fought at middleweight. Roberto Duran, Thomas Hearns. I mean, so many guys fight at middleweight throughout their career to bump up. Bernard Hopkins, one of the best middleweights of all time, undisputed there. Triple G, of course, as well. But then it died down a bit in the 2020s, I'd say. Let me know what you guys think, though, about this new middleweight division rumors. Should Crawford actually bump down to 160 and try to wipe out the division? Should he? Should he retire? Or should he bump up to 175? Or maybe have some fights at 160? I didn't even think of that either. I keep forgetting about that. I just keep thinking about what's next. He should keep accomplishing more. Go all the way up as high as you could. Let me know what you guys think down below. Make sure to subscribe. I'm out, guys. Peace.